Okay, Legacy Squad, we have found a backup feature match. We have Devin Baltus up 1-0 on Brandon Hodgins' 4-color Dack mess. Let's talk about the more interesting part here. Let's talk about this 4-color Dack. We see, in all their spiciness, 3 Dack Fadens, 1 Liliana the Veil, 2 Jace the Mind Sculptors, with a removal suite of Abrupt Decay, Liliana's Triumph, and Toxic Deluge main. Jim, what can you tell us about this 4-color Dack list that we want to know?
I mean, it's just got all the answers that you can ever want. It's just there's only one of each of them. So this deck might struggle against a deck that's as one noted as Eldrazi, because Eldrazi just plays 4 of everything and just trying to smash as quick as possible. This deck needs some time to set up what it's trying to do. Between the Punishing Fires and all the Planeswalkers, you don't really want to stumble against the Eldrazi deck.
I mean, from the board, he does have 2 Assassin's Trophies, a To the Slaughter.
Is that the 3-mana Diabolic Edict something?
Yes, sack creature, sack Planeswalker.
Okay.
To help out here, so he can bring in additional removal.
I mean, I really like the way the Pernicious Deed looks, because a lot of the other cards that this deck plays are all in the same vein, where it's like artifacts and just creatures. So Pernicious Deed will mop up a large percentage of those.
So, as the obvious underdog, what does our 4-color Dack superhero need to do to get back in this game?
I mean, I think he just needs to keep a hand that's built around the removal spells that he's looking for, and he also can't get pinched on mana, which, as you see a Wasteland come down on turn 1, it definitely doesn't look good.
What do you mean? It looks real good. Okay, waste my Valk, here's a Valk. So from Devin, the Eldrazi list, I believe is fairly standard. In the creature base, he is running 2 Walking Ballistas, which I feel like the number has been a little bit higher of late. He does have 1 Blast Zone, 2 Mistress Factories in the sideboard. After board, he doesn't really have a whole lot. He has a couple Sorcerer Spyglasses, maybe some Ratchet Bombs, but his deck and we see the Thorn Amethyst in his hand, but his deck really is just going to be about getting in, smashing face, and killing them before they get to do what they want to do. Ooh, Hodgins with the main deck, or the main phase Ponder, looking for the land, and finds it.
Looks like we actually got 2 there. That's really good for him. I mean, especially coming back on like, if you get turn 1 Wastelanded and your opponent doesn't have a turn 2 play, it seriously decreases the value of that Wasteland. Like, the Eldrazi player wants to be just turning the corner at this point, and you see his hand stumbled a little bit.
Oh, we have an Inquisition with Thorn and Chalice in Devin's hands. That's a pretty big Inquisition. Problem being, it looks like he's going to have a turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer, which Inquisition does not deal with. So Devin's hand, as we say, is pretty good.
Yeah, but what do you take here as the Dack player? Do you take the Thorn, considering that it shuts off a large percentage of the deck in terms of what you can do two spells in a turn? Or do you take the Chalice because it cuts off all your 1-drop like Brainstorm and Ponder?
I mean, with his hand being Brainstorm and there being another Brainstorm on top, I believe, you have to take the Chalice 100% of the time. Thorn you can play around. Thorn you can still Assassin's Trophy. Thorn you can do things too.
There's another Wasteland from Devin. Let's see if he speeds up or slows down.
The 4-color Dack player did have to shuffle away that second land to be able to Inquisition. So Wasteland is big.
No. He led with the basic swamp. He didn't fetch for it.
Okay.
So there is a Scalding Tarn sitting on top of Brandon's library.
We have this. Could we see the Leovold? I saw it in his hand. Leovold, kind of good here, kind of also not good. This isn't a matchup where Leovold is going to one-handedly win the game.
No, it's definitely not. This kind of card is not good against the deck that is just trying to play things on the ground and just get in.
He gets the Trop, he shuffles. I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see it.
Yep, he's tapping 3.
There it is.
Leovold it is.
I mean, it might not be the best card in the world. It does draw. Does it draw off of the Thought-Knot Seer trigger?
Yeah, the Thought-Knot Seer is a target.
So the Thought-Knot Seer is going to target him. After that, it's really only going to hit like Endbringer, Walking Ballista, Dismember, and the aforementioned Wasteland that's in his hand.
Okay, so he played an Ayavugan and a free Mimic, and now we have the Thought-Knot Seer. So trigger from Leovold.
Has to read the Mimic. Mimic doesn't gain haste, so we're fine here.
Yep, we got a reader.
And he's going to show him land.
Jace, Brainstorm, Snapcaster.
So the Thorn really is going to start hindering him here because he can't get rid of the Thorn. Snapcaster, Assassin's Trophy is going to cost 5. That Jace is also going to cast 5, so he's kind of in a predicament. Takes the Jace, exiled, and can
I
attack.
disagree with that choice. I mean, the Thorn of Amethyst is already shutting down the Jace for 2 additional turns. I don't think that it was a necessity to take it there.
Yeah, just respect. Jace, well, and you do, he has a Wasteland in his hand, so that means that Jace was never resolving ever.
Yeah. I mean, he did draw a Lightning Bolt, but the problem being that the Lightning Bolt doesn't kill the actual threat on the board, which is the Thought-Knot Seer here.
I mean, it is going to turn off the Eldrazi Mimic, which is also going to be beat in.
So there is a line that you can take.
Balthus did draw the Caracas for the Leovold.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's huge.
Draw a card.
Draw a card.
There's another Jace. And smash in for 6, and the Mimic should get Lightning Bolted. For 2. So incinerated.
I mean, if he draws a land here, do you just like jam Jace, bounce the Thought-Knot, draw a card? Like, that seems really good. He did draw the land. Wow.
He drew the land. He has the back of Jace. I think you do, because then he has to waste another turn to replay the Thought-Knot Seer. You draw another card. He gets to see your hand. I think Hodgins just needs to stall as much as possible and hope that Balthus doesn't draw Reality Smasher.
He just passes here.
He does have the flashback
he could
for the Assassin's Trophy now.
There's no Assassin's Trophy in his yard.
Oh, sorry,
that's an Inquisition.
Inquisition is not Assassin's Trophy.
I think what he does is he snaps the Lightning Bolt back and blocks the Thought-Knot Seer.
This is probably going to be big.
That looked like Reality Smasher.
Looks
mana.
like Chalice on 2. Is what it looks like. So he's kind
of he doesn't have the mana for it. Thorn of Amethyst makes it cost 5, so he couldn't cast it.
So there's another Chalice on 1.
Yeah, we do have at least one burn player in the room.
So he's tanking. This is another spell you really just don't want to let resolve. You can't be completely prisoned out by this Eldrazi deck. And there's the Force of Will. There's the Leovold.
We found a good use for Leovold in this matchup. It's getting pitched to Force of Will.
I mean, there's a Wasteland on the board. Leovold was getting value. And here's the Wasteland. Devin's hand really is just doing everything that it needs to do in this matchup. Here comes the Thought-Knot Seer for 4. So
3 turns is a lot, though. I mean, his setup is not necessarily the best for really punishing how hard he's prisoned out.
I mean, Hajin needs to draw.
Why? I'm so confused why we're not playing the Jace and bouncing the Thought-Knot Seer. I mean, it just seems like we would get such an incremental swing in our direction. We shut off the clock, we draw a card, we establish a board. Like, we need to be playing multiple spells in a turn. That's what Devin's trying to prevent. Getting the Jace does that. Because then you have a Planeswalker in play and can play a spell.
Devin passes back without attacking.
What is...
Okay, we must have some next level magic going on here, guys. Hodgins fetches down. And we have to... We're rooting for the Jace. We don't know if we're going to see it, but we're rooting for the Jace.
What are we afraid of in this scenario?
Snapcaster Mage Lightning Bolt.
Oh, okay. We still do have Snapcaster Mage Lightning Bolt. Okay, I forgot that was a thing.
He knows Snapcaster Mage Lightning Bolt is a thing.
Okay, never mind. I take back my critique. Jace. I'm trying to will it into play.
I mean, the problem with Jace being if he plays the Jace, bounces it, he draws a card, then Devin immediately gets to replay the Thought-Knot Seer and take whatever card he wants.
True, but the thing is that, like, you bounce it down to 2 counters on the Jace and then do it again next turn, draw another card, and then, counter it the next time when you have a full grip and full untapped mana.
Right now, he's fronting a dead Thought-Knot Seer. See, that's different. Now there's two creatures on the board. Is that the land that tutors things?
The Eye of Ugin, yeah.
Okay, so Devin does also have a lot of lands, and he should be approaching eye mana, which would not be good for Brandon.
No.
Particularly really bad for Brandon.
It looks like he only has access to 5 mana right now on board, because that last land that you can't see with the glare is actually an Urborg. But you can't tap Eye of Ugin to produce mana for Eye of Ugin.
He has at least one Ancient Tomb.
Yeah, I counted that.
So I think Devin is being stonewalled. There it is. Okay. Finally happens. There's the Snapcaster Mage targeting what I hope is the Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, it does look like we're targeting the Bolt.
Kills the Thought-Knot Seer.
And blocks it. And then Brandon will draw a card off the Thought-Knot Seer.
Brandon to 6. So he is in a very... And there's the There's a Baleful Strix. Brandon might be turning the corner here. At least he's attempting to. But Devin is a land away from
an endless string of Reality Smashers.
Reality Smashers.
I just want to be sure we're recording. Yes, it is.
Sorry, technical difficulties. We are recording.
David.
There is the Baleful. Was it Baleful Strix? We missed something else. Technical.
What is that card in this? Is that a
looks like another Inquisition?
Is that Toothless Slaughter?
Actually, yeah, that could be the Toothless Slaughter, and the Matter Reshaper flipped another.
Better.
The Matter Reshaper flipped another Thorn of Amethyst. Then it looks like Devin plays a full-size Walking Ballista.
Man, that's a big boy.
Coincidentally enough, the perfect card to counter the Baleful Strix. Brandon's trying to figure out how big this walking ballista can be. The answer is large. 4/4.
Big one. Okay.
That's an 8 mana pump into that. That's huge.
Brandon Hodge is now on a 1-turn clock with no ability to block the Baleful Strix. So he needs an answer for it. With every card costing 2 more due to Thorn of Amethyst.
Walking Ballista really was the perfect threat there.
I mean, he also played the land, so he has Devin also has an active Eye of Ugin.
Oh wow! So it looks like we're getting back the To the Slaughter.
To the Slaughter's coming back.
So it's actually kind of funny because I think Brandon is trying to protect his life total here, but what he didn't realize is that the Urborg in play, he could have just tapped his fetch land for black mana and not had to fetch down to 3, because I think he was trying to protect that life total a little bit.
I mean, either way.
Because now Mishra's Factory is just going to come in and just rumble in.
Rumble in for 2. What do? Do you Mishra's Factory? Do you show the Ugin and go get Reality Smasher?
No, in this scenario,
I don't think Brandon has an answer for any of it.
Yeah, I mean, in this scenario, the last card in his hand is the Jace. So and Devin knows that. So I'm thinking that my line here is just play with the Mishra's Factory until you can't anymore.
Or Thought-Knot-Seeker. I mean, that works too. I mean, just have every card every piece of disruption ever. Also, it works.
Yep.
Down to 1. Looks like our Dack superhero is not going to be able to do it.
That's better, right?
Yeah, it's better.
He did finally draw the Assassin's Trophy that he's needed the entire game.
I mean, he can Assassin's Trophy the Thought-Knot-Seeker.
Draw another card. For 4.
Yep, and it has to be a bolt.
And that's it. We are done. We have Devin Balthus on Eldrazi. 2-0 over Brandon Hodgins on 4-color Dack. The superhero cannot get there. We have... What do we have? We have 12 minutes left in round, so we will see you guys after a short break.